The original recording of this video only made the original video prove my point even more so for it, because the first 13 and a half minutes was absolute garbage shit internet connection. I was robotic. The audio was not listenable, and it didn't become clear until 13 minutes and 20 seconds into it. I put a fair amount of effort into that video, but because, again, corporation, in this case, my internet service providing company, I know, shocking, did not do what they said they were going to do. And yet, a fucking again, another instance where now my time right now is wasted cleaning up their mistakes because they do not offer what they say they offer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize that first 13-minute intro here. I'm going to splice it into the remaining video, which is where more of the points are made. And then I will re-upload it because, once again, corporations can't do their fucking job. The basics of it goes is this. Saturday, I believe, I wanted to sit and enjoy my hot tub to save money on heating up the hot tub, which partly led to me buying an electric powered hot tub. I have solar panels. And if you think ahead a little bit, you could say it's sunny out. Let's turn on the hot tub. That way, solar panels powered for free. I'd even have to tap the batteries. I went out that AM at 10 a.m. The temperature was 85. I jacked it up to 105, which is the top temperature of this hot tub. So I will let it sit there for 3 hours, 4 hours, and I will be able to enjoy the hot tub later that afternoon. I came out there at noon. I'm looking at my hot tub, and I'm like, why is it not running? And it stopped at 89 degrees. This then triggered an obligation on my part to fix the problem of the mistake of the corporation that made the hot tub. Because I had experience before where I said, I'm not losing my mind. I know I jacked it up to 105. Why did it stop? Turns out, sometimes water, this no joke, water gets into this model's command panel, the control panel, which you would say, why is there water getting into it? Hot tub panel, shouldn't that be waterproof? You stupid fucking ignorant man, you. So I knew they gaslight you in a certain way. We're like, I could have swore I put it up to 105. Now I just don't know. I did put it up to 105. And so I put it back up to 105. Thankfully it worked. But the point is that it looks like I'm going to have to get a new motherboard, or there's a repair for a hot tub that is 4 years old. Is one of the few nice things I've wanted to own. This led me down a line of thought to have an epiphany where I realized that we cannot have nice things. This is why you can't have nice things. And what I realized in that, if you spend good money on a hot tub, yet it doesn't work, the frustration of dealing with a broken hot tub, when compounded of the frustration of dealing with internet that doesn't fucking work, compounded by literally all of your products not working, whether it's stripped screws, mechanics who don't put oil plugs back in the oil pan, to PF Chang's private equity and shitification, to literally everything, it dawned on me that if you follow this logic through, people will no longer buy your shit. Not because they want to and they can't afford the repair and all that, but because of what I call the impossible proposition. And that is what corporations are offering their customers, an impossible proposition. The original contract, the implied contract is, I will give you internet access, I will give you a hot tub, I will give you a screw, and it will work and will not break. That's the proposition. But if all corporate services, all goods and services, all products are breaking, do not work, need to be constantly babysat and troubleshot, need to be repaired, or require subscription service, blah, 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 blah. Those are impossible propositions because people simply cannot afford to buy things that do not work. And I then came to the further conclusion, you will drive away so many customers, not because they don't trust it or you're a bad service. It is impossible to purchase something from you. It is impossible to enjoy it. And this impossible proposition will lead to people abandoning the number one religion and faith in the United States, and that is materialism or consumerism. So I then went through a very organized kind of outline, and I provided some examples, starting with minorly impossible propositions, things like strip screws or your internet not working. And then I went on to major life crippling ones. And then I made the point about how just total it is, how everything produced, all goods and services are impossible propositions. And so that would then lead ultimately to people abandoning materialism because they have to, because there's no materialism to consume. And not only would this lead to the end of materialism as a faith, but it would be the demise of corporations because they are too short-sighted. And so I will split the video here and enter in when the video started getting good. And that more or less is the preamble, the prefix to my video I was doing. And we enter in on the video where I talk about examples of minor impossible propositions you can hopefully use. Hanton Clogs will say, Captain, what internet do you use Starlink? No, I do not use Starlink. I don't even want to give these people I will deal with them later. But you will enter in now in the splice video that I will download this one, download the other one, cut out the bad part, put it in the new start. That assumes the internet is working right now. And then maybe someday I might get on to enjoying my life. Thank you. Oh, that's just horrible. So let's go with my hot tub or any purchase. All consumer purchases are a proposition or even a promise. All right. I give you my labor in the form of money. I sacrifice my finance time for in the form of I give you money. You give me the fucking product that works. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a screw that strips. It could be a hot tub that doesn't work. It could be a car that's in a perpetual state of recall, right, Ford? Whatever it is, you offer me thing, and implied in that thing is, oh, I could use that thing for the obvious purpose and use the thing is, and here's the money I want the thing. But if the thing doesn't work, right, the cantaloupe is rotten, the vaccine doesn't work, don't know where we might see that, your car breaks down or the hot tub doesn't work, that is now not only immoral, unacceptable, and theft and fraud, we can name it all things, but at the end of the day, what it is it is impossible. It is not possible. It did not result in reality. I bought the car. It isn't a car because it's not driving like a car because it's broken down all the time. That is now an impossible situation. And we've seen, if you go and look at nearly anything you buy, I don't know about where the stuff is actually manufactured, like in China, but in the West, especially the United States, we have had nothing but impossible consumer purchase propositions. Most recently, I'm sure if I thought about it, there'd be some fuckery engaged. Borderlands 4. What is it? Randy Pitchford? Go fuck yourself. That is fraud. It's fraud what you did. Now, it's not illegal fraud, right? You can release a video game. Borderlands 4 is a video game. You can release a video game in whatever state you want it to. But I have the right to assume that when you release a video game, it's going to work. And when I played Borderlands 4, at the end of the day, it didn't work. The map in the navigation system didn't work. You could get to the point where you're fighting an enemy, the enemy would fall off the screen, and then that mission could never be completed. You could not finish the game or continue on unless you beat that enemy. So I don't know what you do. You go back to a save point or something. And yes, modern day people, well, games are always released in how can you get a game in a perfect state? I don't know. They did it for decades when I was younger. But Borderlands 4 is an example of an impossible proposition. Give me $70 and I will give you not a game. It looks like a game. It acts like a game. But at the end of the day, it is not a game. You could play it a little bit, but not a lot. Not without tremendous frustration. And very minor bedside table, right? I don't know about you. I'm not a big bedside table guy. But you need something next to your bed to put whatever, your watch, your lamp, your cell phone, your alarm clock, right? And so we got a bed frame, got it at a discount, pretty good deal. Looked nice, right? It's finally, I want some nice looking things. So I went online and I found 2 bedside tables that match the bed and look nice. They were cheap, affordable, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't have to. No, it doesn't have to be a real oak mahogany. I don't give a shit. Does the colors match? Okay. I go and I spend my time and my money buying the thing. I spend my time assembling the thing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, why is this falling apart here? Oh, it's cheap Chinese crap. It's a bedside table. This doesn't require drastic engineering. Did you purposely put crap materials for it in there? How does a how does a piece of wood decay? I mean, unless it's getting water, then I can understand there's termites. How is this literally falling apart? It's not outside. The wind isn't hitting it. It doesn't have more than like 2 pounds of weight on it. That's not a proposition. I rented a bedside table for 4 years. Now, instead of going fossil hunting or getting like your bedside table should be a one and done purchase, right? Your kitchen table, a lot of furniture, they should be one and done purchases, unless you're going to renovate or redo the kitchen. Chairs, chairs. I don't think chairs. I need time to replace the chairs. No, but here we are. I have to now go waste my time looking for new bedside tables, spending the time to work up the money to acquire new bedside tables, and then no doubt reassemble them. And then maybe we go through this process again in 4 years. Internet access. That has been a tremendously costly thing. I've spent well over $1,500 on service fees for the techs to come in and not fix the problem. The lie was that, and you guys saw it, that I could get reliable internet via satellite, not Starlink, but it's land-based radio tower, essentially. That was not the case. We are on, I think, our 8th router now, because the previous owner of the company would just swap out people's used routers, which that's not how it works. They break. The amount of time I had to spend reprogramming whatever device hooked up to the internet, reprogramming passwords, and then dealing with it myself. And I finally got physical internet, which also required a bunch of fuck-ups. That required, I think, 17 hours of lost labor between myself, the cable burying company, and the internet company itself, because one phone call wasn't made. Right? One phone call isn't made now. What was it? About 5-6 hours of my time wasted. And 10 to 11 hours of other people's time wasted. That you don't offer internet. And then when you do offer, when the real internet company comes along, yeah, we got real internet, but we're going to make it a tremendous and costly burden, unnecessarily, for both ourselves and you, for you to get internet. And then movies, right? You got the new Running Man coming out. And everyone, I'm in the minority, I guess. I guess I was too optimistic. I thought, is this going to be a good movie? Looks kind of fun. And everyone's, no, it's a remake. It's going to be garbage. The Accountant 2. Everything was great until it wasn't at the very final thing, which just took a perfectly good chocolate sundae and you spread fat woman juice all over it. Diarrhea. Why'd I waste my time? It's not a conscious malicious theft, although sometimes it is, but it's literally a thief of your time. It's a thief of your life. And those are minor things, right? I mean, maybe the internet's pretty important, but video games, bedside tables, and movies, we don't need those to survive necessarily. But don't even think, sure, minor, but more so think about your largest purchases, your most important purchases, and then also all the purchases, because this enshittification, this fraudulent, impossible proposition is damn near everywhere. Cars are vital. A lot of people focus on housing and education, and rightly so. Not saying those aren't major and big purchases, but cars are often unspoken because, especially as a young person, you need a car. Unless you live in an adequate place where there's public transportation and Democrat psychopaths aren't murdering you or shitting on the subway or the L or the light rail. But let's just imagine it's 1950s America and you could safely ride the subway. Right? But cars, you can't afford. You can't afford a car now as a young person, not a reliable one. And even if you're wealthy, you know what the cars are? Completely disposable. Plastic oil pans, over-engineered electrical engineering or electronics bullshit, computer screens in the cars, all the unnecessary safety mechanisms that Karens wanted because now if it saves one child, yeah, but it killed 8 people because it's dinging all the time and it distracted driving. Cars are impossible on 2 levels. One, you're just priced out of the market. There are no entry-level cars that are affordable to young people. So it's impossible. It's an impossible proposition. And 2, even if you do get a car and you happen to be able to afford it, it's so enshittified, right? BMW, you wanted to have subscription service for the heated seats. And then Volkswagen, I think they went through with it, that if you wanted full horsepower, you had to have a subscription. So the engine's perfectly capable of it. You got to unlock it. No, fuck you. No, that's impossible. No. No, that's like you get married and the wife is like, well, if you do the chore list, then here's you get a kiss if you do this, a hug if you that blowjob, and then tee sex if you complete the whole honeydew list. I just tell you to fuck off and I don't marry you. Transportation, cars. That's huge. That's a vital and large part of the economy. Education. Right now, I'd have to look up what percent of GDP is automotives versus education, but we know education is a very large percent of the economy, right? Especially for young people. And this isn't private corporations. This is government, right? These are mostly public universities, all private universities as well, the education industry. It is an impossible proposition to say, we're going to give you a 4-year college degree for 4 years of your life on $100,000. Oh, and by the way, that degree will not get you a job. The further added impossible proposition, predominantly now coming from corporations, private sector again, is that you need a bachelor's required, master's preferred before we even consider giving you a job. Or you do what Gen Z does and tells you to fuck off and lies flat, which they rightly should. You dumbass dopes. Meanwhile, you're all outsourcing jobs and dinner. I don't know. Gen Z doesn't want to work for a living. Oh my God. And no, they just have self-respect. And it's not even self-respect. It's not possible. You're in school from 5 years old. You come out 13 years later at 18 and you still won't hire them. The school still won't give them an employable skill or trade after 13 years that they now got to go into debt until they're 40 to get a college degree that you lied to about them anyway, and now you're not going to hire them anyway because you're going to outsource to AI, whether that's AI or actual Indians? Huh. You know what? That sounds impossible. Sounds like a scam. Sounds like we're not going to do it. And oh my God. Men aren't going to college. You girls are still going to college. Okay, college experience, girl boss girling. Housing. Well, you need to live somewhere, Aaron. Yeah, and I've said this before. Yes, you do need to live somewhere. And what we're finding out is people couldn't live at home for quite some time or live dirt cheap room with a bunch of people. You made housing unaffordable and you made it an impossible proposition. And so people have mentally checked out. They have mentally left, probably permanently, the housing market. Even if interest rates were to improve and we were to stop sending our kids to dumbass Marxist liberal arts schools to major in hate white male studies and sent them instead to trade school and like competent trade school, not cousin fucking trailer park, Wyoming trade school, like actual trade school where you show up on time, you do your job right, and they could actually build the houses. People have mentally checked out. They've moved on, kind of like the marriage market. You're like, no. I mean, you have to think it's possible first before you buy a car. But if you don't think it's possible to buy a car, own a house, get married, you change your life behaviors and your life decisions to reflect that expectation. And you're not in a position to ever buy a house or buy a car or get married. And housing, that's the number one determinant of the economy, because when you buy a house, usually you buy everything else that goes into a house. And home starts are a very good indicator of future consumer spending because you got to furnish the house with stuff, as obviously I went through, because for the longest time I just had one fork, one spoon, one bowl, one dish. All like, what do you mean I need furniture? Oh shit, look at all these empty walls. What am I going to do with that? But you guys made it, not me. I didn't make it. You guys made housing unaffordable to two entire generations of kids. I wonder if it's going to have an effect on consumer spending. Appliances, we've talked about those. Those are very pricey and costly. I guess a hot tub is an appliance, kind of, right? Sort of. But you have, what was it? Bosch, the German company. Oh, it's German engineering. It's so weird. Oh my God, the Germans are so good with their engineering. And over-engineered, broken down pieces of shit. You cannot use all the cycles unless you download the app. Samsung appliances are absolute horse shit. All appliances are absolute horse shit. So we got to replace them every 3 to 5 years. Whereas if you're lucky and you go to an estate sale, you might find a 1985 Maytag that's lasted since long before you were born. Right? That you don't think about cars and appliances much, but they add up. These kind of, education, housing, healthcare, those are the big ones right in front of your face. Yeah, well, cars and appliances and electronics are not exactly cheap either. I got a washer dryer, up down one on discount, scratch and dent. It never worked right. It only works on cold medium for the washing. So all the clothes are cold medium wash. I got for $400. When's it going to break down? When is it going to irreparably break down? No joke. Almost to the point I'd go back to my olden days when I used to live at Ghettos in the Sky. Look it up. Riverside Plaza. It's over in Minneapolis. I used to live there. Yeah. I was up on the 34th floor. And I could go down to where the laundry machines are with a bunch of quarters and sit there and watch my laundry so people didn't steal it, because that would happen. Or I could just wash everything in the sink. I chose to wash everything in the sink. My jeans would be hung up dry. You know how hard it is to wash jeans by hand? It's tough material. Do I have to go to, really? Am I going to have to do that? Because why would I get an appliance if it's just going to break? It is an impossible proposition. I buy a washer dryer, and oops, tee, unless you got a subscription service through the Bosch app, it won't work. Again, that's like your wife who decide she doesn't like sex the day after you get married. It's an impossible proposition on an expensive item. Dining out, don't know if that's a big thing. I consider it a pretty big thing or a universal thing because I don't know if you corporations knew this. Um, the American people can't be spending their time always repairing and replacing your broken down shit. Sometimes we'd like to go out and eat or enjoy life or have a social activity. We'd like to have fun. But name me a restaurant that isn't taken over by private equity and is absolute garbage, right? I go to PF Chang. I'm going to keep bringing up PF Chang's. I go to PF Chang's. I expect a finer, higher standard of Chinese, Asian food. Oh no, now it's just garbage. Just garbage. It is a impossible proposition. Pay $35 for a meal without drinks for one person, and here's your shit Chinese food that we scraped it off the ground because the Cisco truck spilled over, and then we decided to. It was already kind of partly cooked on the hot Vegas pavement. Here you go. Here's your gravelly General Tso's chicken. Also related because it has huge ramifications, nightclubs. This is not necessarily corporations' fault, but we could say, you know where it is definitely? Oh, this isn't mission critical. This is not critical to the economy. Vegas. Hey, Vegas, remember when you literally fucked all your clients in the ass by their legitimately stealing money from them, double charging, adding a bunch of fucking bullshit fees? Now you could say, what was it? Was it an $18 bottle of water? Was it 12? It doesn't matter. You could always say, you don't have to pay for that bottle of water. You're right. You don't. But that's the least of your sins, Vegas. You guys steal money from your clients by putting bullshit charges on their final hotel tab, and you hope they don't notice and realize it. Oh, by the way, Resorts World finally gave my buddy his money back. It only took 2 weeks of his time and getting on the horn with the credit card company. I'm sure he wanted to do that, right? Just like I thought I could take a Bosch washer dryer, plug it in, and it works. Nope, we got to do an app and download and register. But the nightclubs and lifestyle, right? You're going out, you're socializing. I wanted to go to a concert. Also Vegas. Nope, I had to download 3 apps. Live Nation and what's the other scam company? Ticketmaster that owns Live Nation. Oh, by the way, they got sued. I think they lost. Oh, $20 parking. It's an impossible proposition. I will never go to a concert again. Never. Nope, I'm not. Unless it's like I pay cash at the door and the bouncer lets me in. I'm not downloading it. I'm never going to a concert again. Never. And then very important, IT, internet communications. I don't know so much mean my internet access, though that is it true. But Microsoft, you just decide you're going to fleece society for another, what is it for Windows 11, $350 and force them to buy a new computer and also spy on them. Now I got to spend my time updating the Linux. Oh, and then don't get me started about how when I switched to my new phone, Microsoft Authenticator didn't work because it's an over-engineered piece of shit. I couldn't access my email for 2 weeks. I could go on. But do you see how not only it's affecting all the economy, but especially the incredibly important parts of the economy, and which is perhaps even more pernicious, every little nook and cranny and corner. Strip screws, right? I told you about the coat hanger, strip screws. Why? Because some American fuckwit over at Lowe's or Menards or Home Depot says, let's go with the cheapest Chinese-made shit that'll strip all the time. It took me an hour to put up a coat rack. Coat rack, just one hanger. Right into the studs. Didn't even have to drill anchors. Oh no, it just started stripping. He'd say, okay, Cappy, why is this happening? What's going on? If if the product is so bad, don't companies realize they're going to lose their customer base? And no, they don't. And the reason why is that business management has passed this threshold or this optimal level of efficiency and efficacy. I've talked about this before with largely Democrat, though not exclusive to, but Democrat politicians always have to do something, right? They come out of high school, say, I need to change the world, because you're a 17-year-old fucking spoiled brat idiot who should shut the fuck up. But you're going to spend your life changing the world. And so Democrats, usually the politicians themselves, have to get some kind of legislation passed, because if they don't, they're going to think that they're a loser and they haven't accomplished anything. What they don't realize is that there's an optimum level of laws, right? If you have too few laws, too much crime or fraud or whatever will happen. You have too many laws, it becomes overly burdensome and restrictive. I mean, look at any Western nation, which has largely been besieged by burdensome regulation to make some liberal white Karen politician feel good about herself. Another reason why you young kids can't afford cars is because liberal white Karens want everything to be safe. Oh my God, safe, 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 safe. Safe. Okay, this car now costs $250,000, but it saved half a life. And it's worth it. Anyway, business management is the same way. When people go into business management, you have to understand their egos cannot abide by the fact that business management, as far as the science can go, it's pretty tapped out. It's pretty optimized. There's nothing new or exciting that has to be done. Generations before kind of got it all put together. All you got to do is pilot this ship. And the average, especially American ego, and especially MBA, bro, cannot handle that. And so instead of just saying, here, all you got to do is keep this on autopilot. Just don't fuck it up. Their ego drives them to go, just like Democrat politicians. I have to do something. Perfect example. Democrat city council in Minneapolis, though not exclusively white female, of course, banned menthol cigarettes in Minneapolis. Why? Because black people like menthol cigarettes. Which raises my simple question, why can't black people have menthol cigarettes? Because the Minneapolis Democrat City Council had to do something, and black people are too stupid to know that menthol cigarettes are bad for you. I'm thinking, I think they kind of do. Also, alcohol is bad for you, but they're fucking adults, and why don't you leave them the fuck alone, let them have the goddamn menthol cigarettes? Probably needed after having to deal with your fucking bullshit all day. And so, again, it's the Jurassic Park quote. You were so busy thinking about whether you could. You never asked yourself the question if you should. And so just like Democrat politicians have gone overkill with unnecessary rules and regulations and laws, business management has gone overkill with newfangled, unnecessary business management techniques, processes, something, anything to glom onto. And you've seen it. You've seen it. There's just-in-time inventory that has a little bit of veracity to it. They're always like acronyms or buzzwords or fads. ESG, right? Carbon footprint. Remember carbon footprint? And all the fucking low IQ S&P 500 executives go, here's our carbon footprint report. Here's our footprint report. Like, dude, you're fucking oil and gas company. British Petroleum coming out with their carbon footprint. Lean management, continual improvement, Sigma 6. A lot of you guys don't know these because you're not in the business. LEED, that's for environmentally managed and environmentally friendly made business buildings that are all being sold for a fraction of their price now. Have you heard carbon neutral, DEI? Did you hear about DEI? Subscription service, bro. And the latest one. Hey, have you heard about this thing called AI? We're a car wash company. We're doing AI, bro. AI, bro, AI. It's because they just can't admit, dude, you're a car washing company. Just leave it the fuck alone. Who was it? Ass Bucket, was it you? You're telling me at your apartment building, the washing machines don't have quarters no more. You got to get an app or use a credit card now? Or was it an app? I think I can understand a credit card, then they don't have to collect quarters. But you said there's an app they need? That's why. That's why your products are going to shit. Is because instead of just saying we've optimized it, don't fuck with it, they're adding and burdening the corporate industry with all this unnecessary horse shit. Oh, apps is what I have an app. And then probably also selling your data, which I don't know. Is that going to be our economy? Half of it's all education because it's teachers and professors. Everyone stays in school until they're 35, and then everyone just gets an app, bro. Is that what and then welfare? That's going to be our economy. And then finally, the one thing that motivates it and pushes it, that where I don't think it's ever going to go away, where corporations will run this, they will redline this engine without oil until it seizes and destroys itself, is the vast majority of managerial philosophy in at least publicly traded firms is that you have to maximize shareholder value, which is taught in school. And there's nothing wrong with maximizing shareholder value as long as you do it long term, which you think would be implied. But if you look at benefits and compensation packages, especially of business managers, they're not there for 20 or 30 years. They're there for, I think the average stint is 7, and they don't give a fuck, resulting in very short-termism. And when you take a short-term outlook to thereby abandoning long-term sustainable increase of maximization of shareholder value, which is the only form of maximizing shareholder value, and replace it with looking 2 quarters out to make your sales bonus, bro. And the fact that this system, corporate America corporations, are pretty optimally, there's not a lot of room for you to boost your stock price by 50% every year. The only thing they got left, guys, the only thing left is to cut costs by cutting quality. That's it. That's all they know. Or start doing outright theft like Las Vegas casinos do now, where they just, here's this discount tire. You see this very commonly, where we're going to add fees, which take, again, discount. And this happens, a lot of tire companies now are doing it. I'm like, what's this fee? Oh, that's your tire insurance. I'm like, no, if you send me a faulty tire, you're replacing it for free. I'm not paying your tire insurance. You will give me a good tire. But we're not the manufacturer. I don't give a shit that you don't sell their tires. The only arrow left in their quiver, the only bullet left in the chamber of business managers and executives in the United States of America's corporations is cutting quality, which would also include scamming you and padding fees and excess, just increasing prices. It is cutting quality and increasing prices, either honestly, like, yep, the price is increased, or with hidden fees. And as you know, the way they cut costs is by cutting quality, which undermines the long-term customer base. To the point, now we've come full circle, your internet doesn't fucking work. Your bedside table is falling apart. Your car needs to come in for a recall. Your car won't start unless you subscribe, like, and get an account with Ford Motor Corporation app. Your appliances don't work. There's no reason to go out to have fun or dinner. Your house is falling apart and is on a broken foundation. And literally everything you own involves fuckery at best, or having a complete repair and replace with something that will not last. And so what ends up happening, and this is, hear me out, I think we are rapidly approaching, faster than you think, this singularity event or threshold where the American consumer doesn't say fuck it. It says this is impossible. It's not going to be, oh, I really want that handbag. They're like, no, that handbag is going to fall. You have pulling the football from Charlie Brown so much, no one's going to kick the football. All of the products being sold in the United States, all the services being provided in the United States, the entire economy is nothing but impossible propositions. And for the sole reason alone of keeping your fucking sanity, you're not going to go out there and buy shit. Because right? If you don't do my homework, I won't sleep with you. That's an old 80s reference. Well, you weren't going to sleep with us anyway. I'm not doing your homework. Every time I buy your product, I get fucked. Every time I go to Vegas, I get fucked. Every time I go to a concert, you lose my information, you charge me all these fees, and I get a fucking shit ton of emails from Live Nation and Ticketmaster. I go to college, I get fucked. I buy a car, I get fucked. You know what's going to happen? People are going to stop buying your shit. Not because they don't want to, but because they can't. Nothing works. And when given a choice of going out there and engaging in this maddening nightmare that never delivers, they're going to stop. The American people are not as naive and trusting as Charlie Brown. You wonder why men, especially young men, aren't going to college. You wonder why people aren't showing up for work. You wonder why they like fuck you, because you provide them an impossible proposition. We're not going to pay you a living wage, but we're going to require a college degree, and you got to come downtown to work in our offices, which you can't afford. That which cannot continue won't. And that's not me. That's some economist out there who's smarter than me and older than me and probably has passed away. That which cannot continue won't. Housing. Housing is an impossible situation, an impossible proposition for young people. You know what they're going to do? They simply won't. They're not going to buy your houses, which I think is going to become fascinating when the boomers finally die off and they sell their 3-a-piece McMansions. Then no one's going to want to buy. There will be a housing bubble in that sense. Oh, you have cars that don't work? It's impossible. They won't buy your car. And I think if I'm not kidding, we might be knocking on the door of the singularity event where people become minimalist, not because of some deep philosophical epiphany, like, I don't need this shit, I'm going to watch Fight Club. We're like, no, why would I buy a car? It breaks down. Why would I go to college? It puts me in debt. Why would I go out to eat? The food is shit. Why would I go to the nightclub? I'm not going to get laid. And if it's impossible to buy your products, to give you money, well, then people won't do it. And right now, corporations definitely don't realize it. But I don't think the American people realize it either, but they're much closer to realizing that corporations will ever be. If we can't buy shit because none of your shit works, you know what happens? The American religion and pastime of consumerism and materialism ends. Right? You get married. I don't care how many vows. I don't care how addicted men are to pussy. If your wife ain't fucking you, the marriage will end, either like dying a quiet death, or the man will cheat, or he'll just divorce her and leave. And corporations are like arrogant, wives who don't put out for their husband. How you can't possibly leave me? I have the hoo-ha. Me. You wouldn't dare leave me. I'm me. How dare you not buy the $10,000 handbag? How dare you not get the new Mach-E Mustang environmental nag dinging mobile device that breaks down all the time? How dare you not go to college? How dare you not get a McMansion? Don't you know who we are? We're a bunch of incompetent fuckwit old Gen Xer and baby boomer corporate managerial fucks. How dare you not give us the money, consumer robot pig? Consume. How dare you not go to Shaniqua Needs Her Doritos, the epic Star Wars story of a black lesbian in a wheelchair, the latest saga from Star Wars by Cat. How dare you not attend our Disney movies? How dare you not go to Target and buy our clothes off of our fat, ugly mannequins? How dare you? And if you can't, if you corporations don't really, I know yours is going to fall on deaf ears. You guys are this close to having Americans give up on consumerism and materialism. You know what happens when they don't buy your shit? Like, because they can't, not because they don't want to. No amount of advertising is going to make a housable any more affordable. You can put the hottest chicks next to a Harley Davidson, but if you still keep making Harley Davidsons for baby boomer bankers, where the entry level for an entry level Harley is 40 fucking grand, I don't care how hot her tits are and how little tattoos she has. The average 25-year-old guy can't afford a Harley. And you guys are going to be so fucked. And what you better try to get ahead of the curve is preventing young people or people in general from realizing they don't need your shit. And they might be happier not dealing with the hot tub. You know what? It would have been nice to have that hot tub. It really would have been. I would have bought, if it worked, I would have been in the market for, how long do hot tubs last? Like 20 years, I guess. I would have bought another one. I'm trying to think of something that, I would have been an Old Spice and Gillette man, which are both owned by Procter & Gamble. I would have been an Old Spice man forever. But then Gillette came out and says, we hate white males, which is owned by Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble has Old Spice and Gillette. You would have had, I don't know, lifetime spending on what shaving products are and deodorant products over a man's life of 60 years of being an adult, 70. I got to imagine that's $100,000. I don't know. It's a lot of money, but no, you don't get that now because you're too busy chasing ESG as a marketing shtick. And so you corporations, I don't think you realize it in making everything impossible to buy. We can buy it, it just won't work. And people will stop buying literally everything. Literally everything. And then I don't know where you're going to get your sales. And kind of related to that, I know you corporations in America just love outsourcing jobs. You just love hiring immigrants, both foreign and domestic, like importing, or you just got to save that money. You got to outsource every possible job to the point you will just be a logo in the United States. Well, I don't know who's going to buy your shit then. You can't even get people to work for you living downtown where all the action is. That's perhaps a prime example of the failure of corporations right there, like a harbinger of things to come. Everything happening to downtown commercial buildings. Come downtown, return to work office mandates. No. Are you paying people enough to live down there? Are you paying people enough? Are you providing safety? Because we got to vote Democrat. When criminals run all over the place, you could steal shit, break into cars, and I don't know, just murder people. Are you going to pay enough for people to live down there? Are you going to pay, people critique Henry Ford. Henry Ford paid, was it twice or thrice the going wage for his employees? You know why? Well, one, he wanted to deprive other auto manufacturers of talented skill and labor. And he also wanted his employees to be able to afford the product. Business managers are not intelligent people. They are short-sighted, low IQ fucks. They are not competent. And gutting your largest consumer market of wages and a living wage to be able to afford your shit? Good. You outsourced everything. What? You outsourced your engineering to India, the manufacturing to China, and the accounting to the Philippines. To what? Import products here? Who's going to buy them? No one's got jobs. They have a shit ton of student loan debt. And they would have extra money to spend if everybody else's products worked, but they didn't. They got stabbed twice when they went to Vegas for a hotel. They had to pay twice with parking and bullshit, and got their identity compromised with a hack over at Live Nation. They had to spend all their free time getting their IT shit to work. They had to buy an extra subscription to Microsoft. With what disposable income and time do you think they're going to buy your fucking shit? And I know you guys give me guff about the helping women out hour, where I give actual truthful financial and career advice to young women so they don't be poor, miserable, feminist spinster bitches like their mothers and grandmothers and aunts. Like, actually try to help them out. You laugh how I piss in the hurricane, and you laugh how I'm pissing into the hurricane to try to get corporations. Like, you're right. Corporate headquarters, corporate leaders are not going to listen to this shit. But if it keeps going like this, no one will buy any of their products. And we're going to migrate to kind of a techno-modern secular Amish. And I think that's good. I think that's good. More schools need to close down. More corporations need to have their stock price halved like Target. More people need to switch to Linux. More people need to fix their own cars. More people need to become like Ryan Stevo, the homestead consultant. More people need to stop going out. What are you going out for? There's nothing. I remember when you could go out and it was fun. You'd have happy hour, like really good, affordable food. I'm so old, I remember when Chili's had good food. You can't say, here's your shit sandwich, now buy it. People will buy it once and they're going to be turned off for it. And I'm pretty confident, again, it's not going to be a switch, but just like you've seen the decline in marriage, just like you've seen the decline in femininity and men's consequential motivation or now demotivation because of it, just a decay between sexual relations, you are going to see an equivalent and parallel decay among corporations. There will be still, you're in key sectors in industry. There will be bubbles like AI, right? The S&P 500 will go up because, well, inflation. But corporate profits, sales, back out inflation and put it on a per capita basis, I think it's going to go down. And I don't know how or what kind of fuckery or trickery you're gonna. The next stage is to manipulate the capital markets to get their stock price to go up. Look at how AI, like Oracle, NVIDIA, and all of them are just swapping money to drive each other's sales up to make it look. I don't know. We're going to buy like Ubisoft went public or private, but then they went private, then public. We sold the private equity. Equity took us by. That fuckery has already been engaging in. But inevitably, at the end of the day, you need profits. And you need a good product at a fair price. And you're just not going to do it. And since you're not producing a good product, since you're not providing things that fucking work, people aren't going to buy your shit. And what they do with their money, aside from like staples, food, clothing, and shelter, I don't know. Maybe you all like start saving in a 401k. I think the savings rate's actually going to go up. Maybe you buy some tools and start fixing your own shit. Maybe people go outside and go for a walk. Maybe people go fishing. But whatever they're doing, they're not engaging in this corporate bullshit. Fewer are going to go to college and universities. And a lot, the days, oh my God, I guess we could say the mid to late 80s was like peak materialism, where you had to have the right shoes and the right this and the right that. That shit's fucking over. Where are you going to find women to buy the $200,000 handbag? Where are the women? Where's that generation coming up? Where are you going to find people to buy a brand new Harley? Who's going to buy all those Corvettes when all the Corvette boomer guys with their white ankle socks die of old? Who's going to buy those Corvettes? Dude, the price of a Corvette, like even maybe a collectible, it's going to tank. I can't wait to get your 2005 Corvette. Yeah. Okay, Herman. So there is good news. And all you have to do is have self-respect. All you have to do is just not buy the shit, not go into debt. Why would you buy the shit? Not missing out on anything. Don't go to college for worthless shit. Go to an online college. Go to Western Governors University. Get a degree in accounting. Save your money and go be free. I think that's ultimately what the real flex is going to be. The real standard of living is like, oh no, man. I work 20 hours a week and I live in my little trailer and I'm relaxed. I just chill out, man. But you don't have a video game. You're right. Oh my God, don't start me about video games. Yeah, why would I deal with video games? It's painful. I'm never going to get so desperate I actually start reading books, but I will go for a hike. And I think that's the future. If there was ever a compunction to become a minimalist, this is it. But you will be forced to become a minimalist because none of the shit's going to work. None of the shit works now. And so I'm just trying to prevent you from having that initial round of spending to find out that shit don't work. I want you to go to like the reuse it centers or estate sales and get an old washer dryer. Don't buy a new one over at Menards or wherever. Switch to Linux, that kind of. I'm trying to get you to not even go to college to spend that money. Just say, oh yeah, I have no. Don't even get taunted or tempted by materialism because, dude, that shit don't work. And until you corporations start making a good product at a fair price and pay your employees a fair wage with training, if you could imagine that, you will lose the single largest consumer market in the history of the world. And then I don't know who's going to go buy your fucking Ford Broncos. Wagoneer, that's the shit. Yeah, Wagoneers. I don't know who's going to go get your advanced degrees. I don't know who's going to buy your I don't know who's going to go to PF Chang's. Let's go to the super chat. Ken Rose, 10 generous dollars. Hi, Cappy. Now that you brought it up, I thought about learning carpentry, not necessarily as a career, but just as a means to build my own house from scratch. Yes. Yeah, no, really. And there's this gray area. You got to go where the Karens aren't. But if you just bought a house, like let's say I own a piece of property. If there are no housing codes or anything like that, like let's say you're in the middle of freaking Montana, can I just build a hut? Right. If we all had the tools and the equipment, we could build shelter. Yeah, you get the plumbing. Yeah, I guess if you're going to run plumbing or a well or something like that. But if I'm not on the city grid, right? I just have a wind and solar, and I just need a what's it called? A septic tank put in, and there's no how hard it's not that hard. Pour a pad of concrete. I would probably put some level adjusters on it on all four corners. You would have to adjust for, the piping to go down. I could build lodging, but an even simpler thing would be just go put a trailer on it. That's it. But yes, you're right. Why deal with carpenters when you can do it better yourself? I got my car third time now to get the seals right. Third fucking time. If this doesn't work, I'm selling that car. I'm just getting myself a Toyota. Selling myself that. It's kind of a fun car. Not a fancy car, but a fun car. It's like, nope. Okay, we can't have good things. Corporations, you want to make money? You want to make everybody happier? Start making good things. We can have nice things. Make it so we can have nice things again. You're in charge of that. Oh, don't get me started about warranties. Holy shit. The insurance racket ninja, fuck you people. Don't even start about insurance or warranties. Ken Rose, $5. I just don't trust any of the new homes and condos being built. Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Go get a piece of land and just put a trailer on it, right? Keep the trailer in shape, maintain it. Trailers are, I think, 3 or maybe even 4 big trailer sales places in South Dakota have gone belly up. I think the boomers are cashing. They're like, oh, I can't afford my RV anymore. You might be able to pick up RVs pretty cheap, but I wouldn't be driving around America. Go find a place to put them, pour some concrete, put your RV there. There it is. Mark Magana, $2 dishwasher broke, needed software update. What the fuck? There you go, Mark. Exactly. Why did no software? Aaron's Analog. I'm gonna start my own company. Aaron's Analog. There is no software. This is your click, 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 press. Water comes out. That's it. Mark Magana, $5. My house came with a fridge from 1988. Still works. My truck's from 1989. Still works. As does my Apple 2GS Atari 2600 NES and 32-inch JVC tube TV. Hey, you know what else worked, Mark? You work. You're still alive and kicking. Look at you go, man. Mark's still here. Oh, hey, Mark, before I forget, I know you love trains. If for whatever reason you happen to be in South Dakota, Deadwood has a basement where it's all toy train stuff, like a layout, a map, a construction set. So if you're ever in town, let me know. We'll go there because you'd love it. SJ 279 Canadian. Sorry, your princess is in another castle. Yeah. Right. Everyone should be tremendously pissed off that when I buy product X and it doesn't work. No, fuck you. Never again. Never again. Mark Magana, $5. I use all those old things because new things frustrate me too much. Exactly. Often accused of living in the wrong decade, but I can't stand the aggravation. Exactly, Mark. My time is very important to me. Dude, I got somewhere in the list of ideas and things. I have my bucket list. I don't think I scratched one thing. I didn't get around to power paragliding. I got one boxing event in. It wasn't even boxing. It was just working out, which I could have done at home. I didn't do fossil hunting this year once. Why? Because I'm fucking around with the internet and bullshit and crap. And I know this isn't a real job, but I got to do this shit too. Thankfully, it serves as my therapy session, and I also happen to make money on it. I didn't get around to writing the next book. I had to deal with oil changes and automate. I mean, it doesn't fucking end. It ends when you stop buying the shit. You know, the saying, what you own ends up owning you. Well, that's because you wanted to have the material items and you enslaved yourself, typically going into to afford those things. Now it's even more direct than that. This shit constantly breaks down and needs to be replaced all the time, perpetually making you a slave to planned obsolescence, shitty engineering, hidden fees, and fraud. Really, it's no different than going out with like an abusive person. You just stop hanging out with them after a while. Like, no, I'm done. The sex ain't even that good. I'm done. You don't even give sex. Goodbye. And then the low IQ people, oh, you just can't handle it, bro. Meaning it's like, you're a school. Look at it. You have a 1988 car or refrigerator, Mark. Oh, square. There's never been more of a time to divest, disengage, and uninvest in society in terms of both the people, the culture, the politics, and the economy. Fuck you, people. It is easier. Listen to me. It is easier for you to build your own damn home with your own damn hands than it is to pay someone to do it, than to pay the pros. And I'd like to say you may not have as nice of a home. No, you're going to probably have as nice of a home because that home's going to constantly break down. That's how bad it is. Uber noob, $5. Do you think your house would have gone better if you had poured concrete for the foundation plus walls European style? No, the house as of yet, its bones are good. The foundation is good. It was everything else. Not pouring the concrete to support the weight of a hot tub, despite me telling them. And a lot of it wasn't like I had to put in the shelving and a lot of trim work and all this other stuff. I had to audit, like tighten down bolts in the garage, shit like that. But a lot of it was not even necessarily the original contractor's fault, though I had to do some electrical work as well. What it is, okay, now we got to do the landscaping. And now we got to do this project. Now we got to do that project. And you would go, like, a perfect example. This is the Southern Command. Hey, I want a coat rack hung up there. Okay, I'll put one in. And the screw strip to spray for scorpions and other things in the Southern Command. I got a pressure bottle. Instead of buying the squirty bottle, I got a pressure bottle. The seal broke because it's made of shit rubber. Like that shit, and you add it up just to maintain a property and going on all these projects, you waste all your time. I don't know how regular home maintainers do it. I was talking to Miguel, cryptocurrency Miguel, him and his brother. Now this is going to shock everyone. Sit down, everyone. Miguel and his brother, Latinos in California. Can you imagine they did landscaping? Can you imagine that when they were young? I know, shocking. And he was excited because I think I had a gas-powered hand chainsaw or something. Like, oh my God, those are awesome. California banned them. I don't know how you guys do it with all the handicaps and the enshittification of projects or products. The Southern Command, the piping for the sprinkler system started to go. I had to repair that. Like, it's underground. How is this plastic supposed to last 800 years? How is this going already? That's the shit. That's the shit. That's what consumes all your time. Or, now I got to go get another bedside table. Fuck. Justified Misogyny, $2. Thoughts on buzz cutting hair to save $80 a month? Yeah, save it. Well, you spend $80 a month. Oh, okay. In fairness, my girlfriend's been cutting my hair for 15 years. I don't care. She does a fine job. Yeah, I used to cut my hair in college before I had trimmers, so I was using like a scissors in the back, which is hard to do. But yeah, you can do it. I mean, unless you're like in a public position and you have to like look groomed for a job or something, or you're about to go on job interviews. But yeah, the buzz cut, easy. Yeah, buy yourself clippers. Use my Amazon affiliate link. Go to assholeconsulting.com/Amazon, click on the banner or the link, and buy a good set of wall trimmers. Who, Lord knows if wall still works. I mean, thankfully, I've had the same clippers wall trimmers. I've had that for 20 years. It works. I wonder if wall trimmers will work now. I am Delta, 10 Canadian. Thanks for introducing us to the truth. Started with A World Without Men and never looked back. Just want to say hi. Well, thanks, I am Delta. Yeah, link below. I got this one. This is very germane to the topic of conversation, Zero World Problems. I would almost read this one before you even go into bachelor economics, because this is obviously way thicker and a lot more. And you're Canadian, so the retirement plans over there are a little bit different. But I would get this one. And it's just going to save you so much time. So much time. Bach Precision, 2 Canadian. You dare not renew Amazon Prime? We will do it for you. I know. Amazon Prime, for whatever reason, all of a sudden I'm signed up for Amazon Prime and Audible. I said, I never signed up for these things. And, we can't refund you. It's like, fuck you. It just, they are to corporate America, corporations everywhere. We can have 1 or 2 relationships and you can study game theory. You can constantly try to fuck over your customer base, or you can treat them well. Now, I'm not a relationship expert, but if I'm constantly trying to fuck over my woman, I don't think it's going to go well. Or I work hard, I stay in shape, I buy her flowers occasionally. I don't spoil her, but I treat her fair and kindly and lovingly. One of which is going to work better. And by the way, corporations, not this fake, we're the good corporations because we DEI help environment. Make a good fucking product at a fair price. And if you dare, could you pay your employees a living wage? And this should just be going crazy. Could you train them so you don't have to go to college? The Plains Warrior, $5. Even Han Solo and Chewbacca were always out there working on the Millennium Falcon. Right, because they were in Wyoming. That's why you couldn't trust the mechanics out there. Tatooine, it looks like Wyoming. Faust, 10 polished zlotys. Aaron, make advertisement for TFM with yeah, you're right. World Without Men. Yep. Raymond, thoughts and minds. Please subscribe to Ray's channel. $2, you could get a C5 vet for 10,000. No, really? Oh man, those boomers are dying off more quickly than I thought. The real Uncle Hector, $5. My biggest revelation after divorce was how cheaply I could live with a vastly improved standard of living. Peace and quiet and freedom are invaluable. Not only are they invaluable, they're rapidly becoming the only things left. Right? What? Let me ask you guys this. What do you think I would accept the proposition? So it says, Aaron, you have to give up your hot tub. You never get to use the hot tub again, but nothing else will ever go wrong. That shouldn't go right. Okay, yeah, your clothes are going to wear out. You need to put gas in there, but you will never have to worry about things that normally would work will work. I'd take that in a heartbeat. But that's not a possibility. You cannot have a hot tub. You cannot have appliances. You cannot have a car. You cannot have an attractive, thin wife. You cannot have a living wage job. You cannot get an education as an investment. You just can't. And when people just say, okay, if we can't, we won't. Goodbye. And stop trying. And then what you will find out, all that is left is peace. You know when we were younger, you'd always see the stereotype Japanese samurai drinking his tea very quietly, meditating or pruning his bonsai tree. And like, why the fuck is he doing that? I'm like, I get it now. I get it. It's not exactly what I wanted. I don't want to just sit there drinking tea, cutting a bonsai tree. But yeah, my version of that would be hiking. And then I come home and I play my Yakuza video games, which I finished one. I finished Infinite Wealth. Now I'm moving on to the Ichi one, the first one. I'm doing them all in fucked up order. I want a good meal. I'm not going to get that here. I got to go and make it myself. I want sleep, good sleep. I'm not going to the nightclub. I'm not getting a fancy car. I'm going to get good sleep. And if we're to have an entire generation of young, wise kids who looked at our mistakes and learned from it, and they're getting good sleep and they're getting exercise and they have peace and contentment and freedom and minimalism, I don't know if you'd ever get the consumer's mentality back again. I don't think you're ever going to get the consumers back. It's almost probably going to be gone for at least several generations. Then we go through the whole process again where, hey, maybe we should make a good product at a fair price. And then we have several decades of that. And then some future baby boomer generation go, let's start cutting costs, bro, by cutting quality. These fucking people don't know the difference. Ross the Skunk, $2. Hey, Ron. Hey, Ross. All right, that's it. Link below. Zero World Problems. Take a look at that book. And then if you're having trouble, like, oh my God, but I really want things and stuff, I have a course link below called Achieving Financial Excellence, which is the quick and dirty way to get you unaddicted to materialism. If gouging prices and screw you over and fuck you in the ass and product don't work, screwery and fuckery and corporate shitification doesn't do it for you. All right, see you guys later. Toodles.